What's going down? Baseboy Banter back in the house. Thor, Brian. Oh my God.
Yeah.
New Year, he's saying his own name.
Oh, yeah.
5 years into it.
I'm an adult now.
I don't know about that, but we're
Ouch.
back. We're back. And we got a new show, Anime Spotlight. We were talking about it. It used to be a segment on the main podcast. We decided we're going to suck that out like so many other things we've done from the main show.
Bring her back.
And
Make
then
her big.
Make it its own thing. So here you are. You saw the title of the video. The Dragon Ball Z sagas ranked. We got 16 sagas over 4 arcs. There was a huge debate before we started rolling. There was a giant debate on what sagas are, what seasons are, and what arcs are.
The way it lays out is so confusing. And in my mind, it's always been, the sagas have always been the arcs, which I'm learning they're the arcs, and the sagas are little subsections in those arcs, which are separate but equal to seasons.
You see the videos behind me? Those are the sagas. Every individual picture is a saga. And that's how I've always known it, as like 16 different
Which
sagas.
just seems goofy to me, not to like put the cart before the horse on that one.
No, that's fine.
But it seems goofy to me for certain ones because it's like, okay, so like Ginyu's on here, right?
Right. Ginyu's its own saga.
Which is so short, I don't know how you could possibly consider that its own little saga.
It's actually a really good saga. That's high on my list.
Really?
And that's super high.
Funny.
So here's how we're gonna go through it. We're gonna start with each one of us will name what our least favorite is, and then we're gonna have to debate, and one of those two will be the least favorite, and then we'll go up from there. So we'll go from 16 to 1, and we'll kind of debate on which our ones are.
The worst ones are gonna be real telling of who you are as a person.
Here we go. I'll start off.
No, let me, because I know for sure, 100%. You said it's possible it could be 1 or 2.
I have 2 I'm leaning towards.
I know what the bottom one is.
You know what? Since New Year, go for it.
Absolutely.
The worst saga.
The Great Saiyaman. Absolutely. Without question.
That was, so when I said there were 2, it was Great Saiyaman and it was Garlic Jr.
I knew you were going to say Garlic Jr.
Jr. is trash.
But is it worse than the Great Saiyaman saga?
Yes, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Here's what saves the Great Saiyaman saga. The Afterworld tournament where Goku fights Pikkon. That happens in the Great Saiyaman. Nope. That happens in that saga. That takes place in that saga. And tell me one good thing that happens in the Garlic Jr. saga. Go.
Well, one good thing isn't really fair because it's been such a long time since I've watched Garlic Jr. saga. But
Backpedaling.
No, not backpedaling. Great Saiyaman saga is still much worse. I think there's some interesting things about it, but as a whole, I would argue it has the most episodes that are hard to sit through.
Some of the high school stuff, the baseball game.
There are some real rough ones.
But there's some funny stuff too.
Every time he's in that great Saiyaman suit, it's hard.
Him and Videl training and falling in love early on.
So which one's worse? Which one's worse? Okay, Garlic Jr.
The people turn into vampires.
Unlike Garlic, it is no taste and bland, leaves you with almost no feeling. Or the Great Saiyaman saga, which has too much feeling. Awkward and horrible, but also some interesting and whatever stuff. Its highs were okay high, but its lows were bottom of the barrel. Whereas Garlic Jr. was one big boring set of
We are talking
shows.
about like the bottom and the bottom A, because whichever one's going to go 16, the other one's going 15.
I totally agree with that.
On these are the worst two.
I
100%.
totally agree with you.
I will die on the Garlic Jr. hill because the mist. I'll give you one later.
No.
You give me this one now.
This isn't, because this is the one I think I'm the most.
You want to die on the hill of the worst one.
You just said you were going to too. I think we both can agree that
the mist that
these
turns
two
them into
are horrible.
Oh my God. But then Roshi and everyone turn into like vampires, and it's like just down to Gohan, and Goku's not even in it. No, it's a Gohan story. These are both Gohan stories, by the way.
Right.
Great Saiyaman and Garlic Jr.
They're
are
both
both
Gohan
stories. That's telling.
But I think there's.
What's the worst Gohan story?
Well, definitely the Great Saiyaman, obviously.
No, because it has redeeming qualities.
No. The redeeming qualities. Stop. The redeeming qualities is basically the things that aren't happening in the main focus.
But it tells you what
the
happens.
saga isn't Afterworld Tournament Saga.
It's where we pick up after Cell, right?
But it's not the Afterworld Tournament Saga. It's Great Saiyaman Saga.
This is where everybody is after Cell, right? It's giving you like kind of a recap. We know filler. We're not going to debate what's the worst filler. We're debating what the worst saga is. The worst saga is Garlic Jr. because it doesn't tie into anything. Frieza just got over. Trunks is on the horizon. And this is pure, not only filler, pure filler. There's no story building whatsoever in this. There is in Great Saiyaman.
Well, okay, so it establishes character stuff.
It's Saiyaman is not a good saga. It is the second worst one. The worst one. Garlic Jr. is only 12 episodes. And doesn't have anything close to Goku versus Pikkon, which is one of the better fights in Dragon Ball Z. It's definitely top 10 battles in Dragon Ball Z. Him versus Pikkon, the final of the Otherworld tournament, is definitely top 10 fights in Dragon Ball Z. That's another video we'll do another time. Get at me. Garlic Jr. has what? It doesn't even have a Super Saiyan in it.
Which is fine.
Everything's better with Super Saiyans. That's hands down has been established.
That instant. So the Saiyan Saga must suck because there's no Super Saiyans in it either, huh?
We'll get to Saiyan Saga. We'll get to where
my
that
point
falls.
This is the most you can't just say Garlic Super Saiyan is what makes it bad.
Garlic Jr. or you gotta decide. We gotta move on. We can't sit and dwell here on the worst. Garlic Jr. is worst. I will give you one later. You give me this one. Garlic Jr. 16.
Fine.
Garlic Jr.
You can
16.
have it. I don't have to
15.
like it.
Here, let's do it. Garlic Jr. I'm writing it down. Garlic Jr. is 16. Great Saiyaman 15. All right. We got that out of the way. Moving on to number 14.
Number 14?
Do I go first this time?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay.
Who do you think is number 14? There's some bad ones in there. Not like horrible, but
The Babidi Saga.
Really? You didn't like the Babidi Saga?
No.
You know,
Babidi's 14 for me.
I would put Babidi, and I know you died on the hill of Garlic Jr. being boring. Yeah. I would almost put them like akin to each other. Like there isn't like a whole lot of amazing in it, but not like a whole lot of horrendous in them. They are pretty bland. I think if you were to ask people to be like if you were like, hey, what's your favorite fight in the Babidi Saga? Most people probably couldn't even name like a villain other than, and I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but that weird pink demon guy.
Is when Vegeta destroys himself in the Babidi Saga against Boo? Like he sacrifices himself? Does that happen in that saga?
I think that isn't that technically
or is that in the Majin Buu saga?
I think that's technically in the Majin Buu saga.
Yeah. Babidi's trash then. Yeah, Babidi's 14 for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna disagree. I think there's
and we can sagas, we can change this as we go.
I think there's sagas I have more hard feelings of dislike against, but it is one of the more boring sagas.
Because it's what they're in the ship going through the levels.
Yeah. It's a setup. You can tell.
Off.
You can tell it's like a setup.
That one's a weak one. All right, so moving on. 13, big number 13. You go first. What do you got? That's what we got left.
You're not gonna like the ones I don't like. I think.
Go for it. I mean, what do you got?
The next one has to either be, I think.
Just say one.
Well, I don't know which one I. Probably Namek.
I would agree. Namek's low.
Again, it's another setup saga.
Low. And it's the longest setup saga there is.
It's like dumb stuff. It's like, oh, we met little kids in space.
Yeah. Those all happen.
Namek
is low for me. I'll give you that one.
It's probably got the most skippable episodes, I would say.
Oh, that's the most.
You could skip that whole saga and probably not miss a ton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what's sad about it.
Some of the training Goku and outer space,
but that's like such a small segment, you know what I mean?
I think some of that even takes place during early in the Frieza, because he travels. I mean, he doesn't make it to the Frieza until what?
Well, that's technically what. I mean, that's probably partly.
Oh no, I guess no. Actually, Frieza's his own saga because Ginyu. Yeah, he shows up at Ginyu. So the end of the Namek saga is where Goku even shows up on Namek. That's a hard pass for me. So moving on, number 12. I think this is an easy one for me. I think number 12 is
So much for easy, huh?
No, it's the Android Saga.
Wait, seriously? Are you joking right now?
No, number 12 is the Android Saga.
No, I would hard disagree with that.
What do you got?
I mean, I would put.
What do you got?
I mean, easily Ginyu before that. Easily
Ginyu?
Ginyu Saga. Easily.
12 for Ginyu, though?
Oh, versus Android Saga? Yeah. Yeah, for
Best
sure.
moment in Android Saga. That's not Perfect Cell games or Imperfect Cell.
I don't know if I can be like, oh, my favorite moments when this thingy happens,
Right.
but I think it's interesting and fun to watch as far as you've got Trunks in there. You've got these weird androids. It's like a new enemy that's different than what we've seen. We kind of get to know them a little bit. It's different than, I think, I'm not going to say it's whoa, 5 stars or anything, but it's definitely, I feel like Ginyu is I don't know,
I'll give you Android does
weird
have...
and dumb. Not to make it mean sounding,
No,
but you know what I mean? Number one, the body switch thing is stupid, I think. I really think it's dumb.
Krillin
and I think
and
it's
Gohan having to fight Goku.
I just think it's I think it's mostly an out to have them fight Goku.
Android
how can we do
does
that?
have Vegeta turning into a Super Saiyan for the first time.
Which is
And that story,
very interesting.
And then when he blows up the androids. All right. You know what? I'm going to concede. Ginyu is 12. I didn't think Ginyu was going to get much higher.
Yeah. Android, I think, is good, but I won't disagree with you in that at the end of the day, not to jump too far ahead, but we kind of know which sagas are probably going to be in the top, and it's usually the later parts to the arcs, because that's usually when it starts getting serious, if that makes sense.
Maybe one of the higher ones will, maybe. Let's see where we are when we get there.
Okay.
So we're at number 11.
God, we're not even halfway
And it's
here,
my
huh?
turn, right?
I mean,
Or your turn.
sort of your turn,
Doesn't matter.
because you gave me Ginyu, so
World Tournament would be number 11. World Tournament's good. It's good. It's not great. It's got some filler to it.
it's mostly filler.
It's got, 11 for me would be World Tournament Saga.
I could agree with that. I could agree with that. It definitely doesn't make it top half.
Because for me, and I'll just let you know right now, a lot of what I'm going to be saying probably in the next few are going to be later sagas in the arcs. I mean, not later in the arcs, but just later sagas in the whole Dragon Ball Z timeline.
Really?
Because I'm not a super huge fan of the last arc. To be
I won't
honest.
disagree.
I think
Blue
it's
has
the
its
weakest. I think it's the weakest arc. It's got its moments,
But I think there's a lot of times where you're like, okay, let's move this along, Hercule.
but it is not. It is not some of the other sagas.
Yeah.
It's not even on that level. So moving on, number 10. We're in the top 10. So what's your 10 of top 10?
probably one of the Boo ones, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm with that.
I would probably put it. Well, where are we at? God, probably.
You got Majin Buu, Fusion, Kid Buu if you're looking for a Buu one. Everything else is already taken. Pabidi's 14.
I would probably.
Saiyaman's 15. World Tournament 16. Or
I would
11.
put
Sorry.
Probably Majin Buu next.
The Majin Buu saga. That's
Yeah.
the first time though you see Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, which I wasn't a huge fan of. Honestly, I like the last two in the Majin Buu arc way more than I like the beginning ones.
Because the Fusion saga.
Pretty much once.
I would.
I think Majin
This is tough
Buu-
because I'm with you right here. Fusion Saga, Majin Buu Saga are the next two in order.
Disagree
of
with me if you will, but I feel like the minute Majin Buu spits out the bad version of himself is pretty much when the Buu saga starts getting interesting and fun. Before that, it's mostly filler
when
and
he's a kid,
boring.
when he's like the childlike Buu. Big, stupid, fluffy.
right, but when he spits out the gray one and then they battle, that's pretty much it's almost like that's the catalyst for when Boo starts getting more interesting.
That's the start of the Fusion Saga.
That's kind of my point. I feel like that's literally when it starts getting good.
You're right. So besides, because the Super Saiyan 3 part though, I watched that episode over and over again. So I like
That's
Super Saiyan
so
3 though.
funny.
Better.
I can't believe that you were that into.
Gotenks was cool. Yeah, Super Saiyan 3 was. All right, I'll give you number 10 as Majin Buu.
That's
Saga.
like the classic.
Yeah, because you're right. It doesn't really.
This is going one step
the
further.
Gotenks stuff, the Gohan stuff, where he becomes like
Mystic or whatever,
level.
the Mystic
with
Gohan,
the sword and everything. That's Fusion. All right, we'll go that's 9. So we're agreeing that's 9.
I'm willing to agree. I think Trunks probably falls somewhere in here soon.
Oh no!
Really?
No.
You put Trunks that
I
high?
will die on the Trunks hill.
God, you're always willing.
I will die. I haven't. No. I've only picked. I didn't say I was gonna die on anything else but the Garlic Jr. saga. I've given you a bunch leading up to here.
So
I've conceded a few because I'm just like, you're right.
So
Trunks to me is higher than number 8.
Really?
Yes.
You put it above the top half.
It's above Kid Buu.
Really? It's above Kid Buu.
All right.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Who else is it above?
It's above, for me, Imperfect Cell.
Oh no!
Android.
No.
Yep. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I literally have one reason, and one reason only. It's when it was on the English dub part, and it was like one of the first episodes that I ever watched. And with the techno music, when he kills Frieza, and it gets all like, that's it. And that whole part where he battles Frieza. That's the only reason I love the Trunks saga. Plus, it's the setup for everything that's about to happen with androids and Cell. So I see it higher than 8. I would stick, honestly, for me, 8 would be either Android or Imperfect Cell. Because what happens really in Imperfect Cell? It's just him hunting the androids.
Them going and getting Super Saiyan freaking 2.
No, that's Perfect Cell.
No, because Trunks had, whatever, sorry, 1 point, whatever it is, right before 2. When Trunks gets like...
And that's Imperfect Cell.
No,
yes, it is. No, it's not. It's Imperfect Cell.
Because when does Perfect Cell start? Because he's not Perfect Cell in that episode where Trunks is fighting him. Where does Perfect Cell start?
Perfect Cell starts with Sacrifice. Tien takes matters into his own hands and head with an onslaught of Psychic Blast. Tien drives back Cell and Android 16. So no, that's the beginning of Perfect Cell, is Tien blasting him into the ground. He absorbs and turns into 1.5 during Perfect Cell.
Fine. You win that argument.
So Imperfect Cell is
less good. Yes, it's not that great.
It's 8.
Because my favorite part from it is not actually
perfect. Is Imperfect Cell.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I would go 7 then as Android.
I'm willing to agree with that. I still think the Trunks saga you're maybe a little high on, but...
Well, that's... Okay, hold on. I'd put the Trunks saga... No, I put Kid Buu next.
Really? God, you really don't like the Buu saga.
No, I actually think Kid Buu should be lower on this list than 6. I think 6 is too high for it.
You know what? If that's true, I'm willing to settle on 6, even though I like it a little more than that. I'm willing to settle.
I know it's the end, but the Ubu stuff that they totally disregarded at any point. There's just a lot of stuff about
I feel like the Ubu wasn't good, but I feel like the rest of it's interesting and fun, and I think there's some cool little callbacks.
Sweet battles with like Vegeta and Kid Buu and Vegito and Kid Buu. There are some sweet battles.
Now, I will agree that Vegeta this is probably when Vegeta looks the weakest. So I could see if you're a huge Vegeta fan not being super into it, but...
So Trunks then Saga is going to go 5. It's going to go 5.
It's gotta.
Because that's where we're at. Because we're down to Saiyan, Frieza, Perfect, and Cell Games for the top 4.
Right.
Those are definitely the top 4. I think universally you can agree. And tell me, leave your list.
Oh, yeah.
Please leave your list. I want to know. I want to see a bunch of lists in the comment section.
So this is where we really get into the
it's gonna get dirty here.
So
it's gonna get so dirty.
Let's start at 4.
This top 4.
Who's 4? Let's not be friends anymore. Come on, what's 4?
Perfect Cell's at 4.
No.
Yes.
Way.
Yeah, Perfect Cell's at 4.
No.
Because Cell Games is better than Perfect Cell.
No, it's not.
So then, so the Cell Games is 4?
Cell Games is 4 over Perfect Cell, I would say. And honestly...
Cell Games is 4 over Perfect Cell.
I think Cell Games is... But I don't even think Perfect Cell is 3. I would put Perfect Cell over Saiyan Saga.
Over Saiyan Saga?
Yeah, I said that.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Because you got Goku versus Vegeta for the first time.
Okay, which is awesome. But before that,
Goku Raditz in the beginning, like the beginning of the saga.
Before Goku shows up.
And Goku Vegeta. That Goku Vegeta fight.
Is awesome.
That fight.
But everything before that is okay at best.
Snake Way.
Which had a number of filler episodes.
Oh my God. They go into hell.
Raditz. I mean, Raditz was whatever, but it was the start. It was like the warm up. Like
Gohan training with Piccolo,
which is interesting for
he gets like left
a
out.
little bit. It's not that great. It's really very and honestly, I would say anyone who.
So wait, we're saying
likes,
Saiyan Saga's 4?
No, we're saying Saiyan Saga's 3.
So what's 4? We didn't.
No,
we never
4.
got, we
I
never
still
got
think
4.
is Cell Games. I think, but
Cell
my
Games
point
4?
was I think Perfect Cell is greater than Cell Games and greater than Saiyan Saga.
What's
probably.
nice, I think we're gonna agree what number 1 is, which is awesome.
But I think Cell Games makes more sense at 4. I think there's some cool stuff to it, but I think the lead up to the Cell Games is much, much more interesting. And has way less filler to it.
That's Cell Games is 4.
I think Cell Games is 4.
All right, Cell Games is 4. We'll go. Cell Games 4. That's fine.
I think this next one's really
fine.
the blood debate right here.
3, because
Which one's 3? Because I think we both can kind of. I think at the end of the day, I'm betting $5. You're willing to say Perfect Cell,
is 3.
and I'm willing to say
It's just not long enough.
it's definitely
It's just Perfect Cell.
way better than you're giving it credit for.
Perfect Cell is not a long enough saga. I mean,
It's
it
sacrifice.
Is really
It's
good.
interesting. It's got Goku training Gohan, which is better, I think,
in
than
the-
Piccolo
in the
training Gohan.
hyperbolic
As
time
much as
chamber.
I love
It's got
Piccolo.
1.5.
He's probably my favorite character. But Goku, this is like the season that kind of puts to rest the Goku's a bad father
Hold
because
on.
he like spends his whole year training with his kid.
Yeah, training. He spends 1 year training with them.
Okay, but they do a lot of father-son stuff in this year that I think is worth noting. It's where he's like, Gohan's got like all this potential. He's like freaking stronger than all of us.
Yeah, it's just the tournament because it ends with Trunks getting beat at like 1.5. The end of Perfect Cell is Trunks getting beat at like 1.5. Mm-hmm. That's the end of the saga. And it's him and Vegeta fighting Perfect Cell. Like,
which is super awesome.
and that's the whole saga. So you're telling me that fight... Sorry. So you're telling me that fight and that part is better
Then Snake Road?
than Goku versus Vegeta. Number 1. Gallic Gun versus Kamehameha for the first time. The turning into apes.
Big chub dude
Yajirobe
cutting a tail off.
Yajirobe.
Yajirobe cutting a tail off is not as interesting as Trunks going 1.5 and being too fast.
Gohan goes ape to beat Vegeta's ape.
So this is the thing. I think
it's a better.
I'm gonna.
Saiyan Saga
I
is
think
better
you
than
like
Perfect Cell.
Saiyan Saga more
I do.
because you also like Dragon Ball. Whereas I think most people,
Yeah, Dragon Ball's straight.
and I like Dragon Ball too, but
The King Piccolo saga, the Tien saga.
Saiyan Saga is much closer to Dragon Ball than most of the other I mean, let's be real here. Frieza Saga kind of sets up what Dragon Ball Z's tone is at that point.
No, because Saiyan Saga is the jump off point because it takes it from just being Earth to like
No.
Goku's.
I'm not saying just Earth, but my point
you
is
introduce Saiyans. You introduce what a Saiyan is in
tonality, what it
the
feels
Saiyan
like. When you
Saga.
watch Saiyan Saga, it's very, very similar to Dragon Ball. It's got like that same
There's some more of the Dragon Ball humor. Yes,
right.
yes.
Whereas
yes.
what Dragon Ball Z
Perfect Cell is like a very contained, like story in that saga.
Right.
I'll give you that. It is. It's very contained.
my
with
point
very
is
good parts.
is
just not better than the Saiyan Saga.
what deserves to be ranked higher? Something that's basically still leftovers from the old show, or something that has its identity.
Okay,
what is Dragon Ball Z?
It's
Which
the
one is more
transitional-
Dragon Ball Z?
It's the transitional saga versus literally like the middle of the saga, where it's most Dragon Ball Z
Exactly.
versus like the beginnings of Dragon Ball Z.
That's the question. That's the question. What do you think should be ranked higher?
I still think Saiyan Saga should be ranked higher. I think Saiyan Saga is 2, and I think Perfect Cell is 3.
I disagree, but For the sake of our list, I'll let you win.
Gosh, now I'm wondering. Yeah,
Exactly.
You know what? No,
Exactly.
No. If it's right. That's a right list. So that means the number one.
That's
drum roll, please. Frieza Saga.
Was there any
It
surprise?
had to be the number
Would
one.
anyone who watched this video
had to
be
be.
surprised by the end? At the end, like
That's true.
I feel like I would be interested to see what someone would rank higher than Frieza Saga, even though I know they're
your
wrong.
argument, right? I mean, you're not going to be able to argue way out of it because it's the Super Saiyan transformation for the first time. It's the longest battle. Him versus Frieza is just layers to it. Vegeta crying, like there's so much. There's so much
of
to that
the identity of this whole
arc.
show.
Yes,
like I mean, this
Yes.
is like I mean, for most people, this is basically why you would start watching,
and
right?
how pivotal. Trunks is how I started watching. Trunks, and that's why Trunks I think holds a special spot for me
Right.
on the list, and why it probably got as high as it got at number 5 because like
It's
that
so
was
funny. I
the
watched Dragon Ball Z
first-
before you.
The first saga
Or
I
did
ever
you-
saw,
or was
and
that
then
in
I,
English?
and then I backtracked.
Was it in English when
Of
you
course,
watched?
it was in English.
Well, I'm just making sure.
I'm
so
pretty
I
sure.
started watching
Yeah, it was
Dragon
in
Ball Z before you. That's crazy.
It was on Cartoon Network.
Right, but I watched before you because
Yeah.
I watched before they. Because there was a little
yeah.
weird like thing with Ginyu Saga. I think it was where it was at, where they replayed up to Ginyu Saga and didn't continue because they the voice actors and like the rights switched or whatever for the dubbing.
Pioneer held it up. Pioneer held it until Funimation got it, and then
Yeah.
Funimation got it at Frieza Saga.
Right.
And,
So I watched
yeah.
like when
That's why these videos back here are like the edited version,
Right.
so that doesn't say hell on their shirts when they go to hell. They
Right.
call it something else and they change the names on the shirts. The
I watched
Pioneer
back
versions are
when it
different.
was like frickin'
Did it have that opening? Dragon,
yeah.
Dragon Ball. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
I watched it like literally the first episode I watched was after the Saiyan Saga when Vegeta had after he had beaten up Goku and he was like in the hospital bed like all like casted up. That was
Yeah.
the first episode I watched.
Okay, so right at the end of Saiyan Saga.
And then I
So,
went and watched the whole
I saw Trunks Saga 1st. Mm-hmm. And I think, like I said, it was that Frieza battle. And I was like, who's Frieza? What is this? There's talking
Right.
about Saiyan, Super Saiyans. Oh my God. So I had to like, then I Tarantino'd it and I like went back to go
Right.
forward. Cause I could go back easier than I could go forward. Cause you could only buy, I think up through, I was working at Suncoast Video at the time. And I think you'd only buy up through like Android Saga.
which is crazy because I
And I'd have to
didn't buy
wait for them,
any of
and
it.
I'd have to wait for them to come out on VHS, and then I'd buy them as soon as they hit the VHS. I'd get them, and like I got the like whole collection right there. But yeah,
'Cause I watched
So I
them
went
on
back and I
Cart-
bought like
on
Namek
Cartoon
Saga,
Network.
Saiyan Saga, Frieza Saga as box sets. Like I bought, they're all. Well, you can see they came in like they came in a box each one. They're like, God, I want to say like $70-$80 or something at the time, maybe.
See, I
100.
watched mine raw on TV every time.
But those weren't uncut. They had the uncut. Well, once they got to Frieza Saga, then they started doing the uncut videos. But yeah, so my first thing was the Trunks Saga, and then I went out and bought the rest of them, and then
Right.
I just continued on.
That's
And that
crazy.
was the beginning of my whole anime collection, which I mean we won't even get into. But so let's run it down then. So 1, Frieza Saga.
Obviously.
2, Saiyan Saga. 3, Perfect Cell. 4, Cell Games. 5, Trunks. 6, Kid Buu. 7, Android. 8, Imperfect Cell. 9, Fusion Saga. 10, Majin Buu Saga. 11, World Tournament Saga. 12 was the Ginyu Saga, 13 is the Namek Saga, 14 is the Babidi Saga, 15 is Great Saiyaman, and the stinkiest of the bunch is Garlic Jr. Let us know your list in the comment section below. Dragon Ball Z, my favorite anime of all time. Honestly, still to this day, it's always going to hold a special place. It was the first one.
I know, it's like-
technically Ronin Warriors was the first anime I've ever seen. Like this is a different story for a different day, but Dragon Ball Z was the first one I got invested in at a right age, in the right state of mind. And for
I think
me,
that's most people. I think
it's-
that's why so many people like it. Is like you were at that perfect age to be like,
19 or something. I think I was at
like
the time.
for me, I pretty much. It's kind of like people who watch Harry Potter, right?
Right.
Like I grew up with Gohan. You know what I
Right.
mean? He was like almost always right in the same age range as me. So like the whole time I'm watching, I'm like the same age as, you know what I mean? By the
Right.
time I started, I'm like barely older than Gohan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I'm watching frickin' the Boo Saga and he's going to high school, I'm like in junior high or whatever,
Yep,
right?
yep,
So
yep.
like I'm like
I get it.
almost the same age as him for most of it. So like a lot of the time I'm like, dude, like I could be Gohan. Just like kids are like, oh my God, I can't wait for my wizard letter to show up.
When I was old
I'm
enough to be like,
I can't
I
wait
should
for
be
my
Goku.
dad. I can't wait for my dad to turn Super Saiyan and be like, it's time to unlock the secret of your blood. Like, you know, like it's
Exactly.
like, so
Exactly.
I think a lot of us were just like in that just right age range to be like, this is me. I can be this.
Yeah, no, Dragon Ball Z definitely, you know, I mean, it sprouted for me a huge love of anime and an entire room of stuff. Kind of all started from the Dragon Ball Z collection. Because I don't think I was collecting anything at that point. When I
Really?
started buying those tapes, I didn't have action figures. I don't think I had anything. I think Dragon Ball Z was literally the start of like my collecting as a whole and like my overall like hardcore fandom like re-emerging after because it was coming off of being really into WWE or WWF at the time, and I was like, I'm really kind of falling out with that. I need something else to latch on to, and anime was like the thing, and then it was like, oh, anime and cartoons, and you know, and then it kind of snowballed into, you know, all our surroundings pretty much. But yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, leave your comments, leave your lists in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. Thor, Brian, Basement Boy Banter. Till the next one, deuces. Say goodbye, Brian.
Goodbye, Brian and Garlic Jr.